Okay, this one again should be an easy lesson. I'm sure by this point in your musical career you've all seen and or heard and or played a chromatic scale. So this really is a formality, but a chromatic scale is made up of 12 equally spaced notes, each a half step apart, and this is equivalent to playing every note on the piano keyboard in sequence. You're simply moving up by half steps and you're playing every single note on the keyboard or on your instrument, as the case may be. So there are two ways a chromatic scale can be written. First is the way that you may have learned from before, from previous lessons, or just in class. Write the scale with sharps when ascending and with flats when descending. Generally, when you go up a chromatic scale, you're going to write the natural note, just because it's the regular note head on the staff, followed by the same note with a sharp sign, if of course there's a black key that follows it. So C to C sharp, D and D sharp, E, well, you're not going to write E sharp because there's no black key here after E. So you're going to go from E straight to F, then F sharp, then G, G sharp, A sharp, B, and straight to C because there's no black key between B and C, of course. So essentially you're using sharp signs going up, and you're doing the same thing coming down, but you're using flat signs. Now the reason they ask you to do that generally is that, let's say you were to use flat signs going up. Well, instead of the sharp signs here, let's use the enharmonic names. C and then D flat, so you're writing a flat sign here instead, D flat. Then you have to write D natural. Then you're writing E flat, E natural. So in the space of 5 notes, 4 of them have accidentals. Whereas when you ascend, instead, if you use sharp signs, only 2 notes have to use accidentals. It saves a lot of black on the page. It saves a lot of notation that isn't really necessary if you just get comfortable reading sharp signs going up and reading flat signs going down. The other way to notate a chromatic scale is to write it within the context of a key signature. So let's say as a flute player or as a trombone baritone player, you are very used to reading in 2 flats. Seeing the B flat and the E flat is very, very common, very natural for your eyes. So when you play a chromatic scale, maybe you want to write that key signature and use that key signature to your advantage while you are playing the major scale, playing the chromatic scale. So you might write a B flat, or might write a B on the staff, and just your instinct says it's a B flat because you're so used to playing B flats. And then you can use an accidental for the B natural, and then C, and you can carry on. When you use a key signature to write a major scale, to write a chromatic scale, it doesn't necessarily matter nearly as much if you use sharps or flat symbols, accidentals within the scale. It really is up to you. You'll see in this example here they use a flat sign here, a flat up top, and then an F sharp in the middle here. It really is not, there's no wrong way to do it, let's say. But if you're just writing a chromatic scale in isolation, generally you use sharps going up, and generally you use flats going down. Okay, so the 2 little assignment questions at the bottom. Write the chromatic scale beginning on E, ascending to the next E, and write the chromatic scale beginning on A, descending to the next A. Using these little rules up top, it should be very, very easy to write the scale. Again, remember to make use of your entire staff, space your notes out. You have to write 12 notes across the whole staff, so there's a lot of space to do it. I've seen it before where people will try and write a chromatic scale in about 1.5 inches of space, and everything's all jumbled together. Use the space. Move slowly down that staff and carry on. Don't forget, please, to use a piano keyboard. Have one in front of you. It's so often that people will go, oh, I'll just write 2 of every note, 2 like line, space, line, space. I'll write 2 of everything, and I'll put a sharp on every other one, right? Because that's what a chromatic scale is, right? I go to the white note, then a sharp, then the white note, then a sharp, then a white note, then a sharp. No. Okay, you know what a piano keyboard looks like. You know that there's not a black key between every single white key, right? So use that piano keyboard to your advantage. We don't write E sharps and B sharps when writing a chromatic scale. We don't use F flats or C flats when writing a chromatic scale. So please take that into consideration. Don't just blindly go willy-nilly up that chromatic scale. Think about the process. Think about which notes you have to use. All right? Easy, easy stuff. I'll see you in the next lesson.